Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Project Bring Me to Life. We have a mission here, and it's to reawaken this world and everyone in it to our spiritual purpose. You can visit our website at projectbringmetolife.com for more content, and subscribe to the website for free weekly and monthly giveaways. In order for the giveaways that we have on today's podcast, you need to go on over to our chat room, which is just in the Watch Live podcast over at our website. And then there's a live chat there at the bottom. It says chat with us. If you want to win a prize, go ahead and enter the chat room. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Project Bring Me to Life. Was that me? A mission here, and it's
coming through, Sarah.
Reawaken this world and everyone in it to our spiritual purpose. You can visit our website at Project
Sarah,
Bring
pause that.
more content. Yeah, you can for free.
Might
be on giveaways. The video. So the Google Plus might be playing the video. We have on today's podcast, you need to go on over to our chat room, which is just the Watch My podcast. Okay, just muted her really quick.
Okay.
Just Sarah, I think there might be a video playing in one of the windows. It automatically does that. So if that is what that is, then just go ahead and mute the video, and then there will be no echo. Anyway, so I was going to say that just enter the chat for a chance to win one of the prizes. Our third official podcast is brought to you by Shantastic Shine Studios, where it's shine time all day. Visit her at shantasticshine.com. Seelaman here, along with my really beautiful co-host, Nick Melnicki.
Hello.
It's nice to have you. And also, yeah, how was your weekend, Nick?
Oh man, it was quite transformative. Brought up a lot of things that needed to be seen again, to be realized that they were even there, even though, I was operating in some ways before with these different viewpoints that I'm using now. But it's like it's weird how some things need to happen before we can truly remember that we can be certain types of people and think certain ways and do certain things that make us feel good but also help everyone else. And just sometimes we need specific events or like hard times or other people to go through hard times to really notice, to be realized that they were even there, even though, I was operating in some these now. But it's like it's weird how some things need to happen before we can truly remember that we can be certain types of people and think certain ways and do certain things that make us feel good but also help everyone else. And just sometimes we need specific events or like hard times or other people to go through hard times to really notice, to be realized that they were even there.
Okay, so technical difficulties, I call them PDs because I love football. They happen all the time, so no need to get flustered by them. We will overcome them. Can you unmute yourself again one more time? So Nick.
Hello.
Got my Reiki attunement today.
How does it feel?
Um, a lot of stuff is coming to the surface. So a lot of things are going on, and I'm trying to be patient. And can you hear me really well? Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
Good. And just trying to become the best version of myself possible in every moment. So, getting back to today's show, uh, our divine guest today is angel therapy practitioner and medium Sarah Hall. She is
Hi,
certified in angel.
guys.
Hey, Sarah. It's nice.
Hello.
Hi.
Nick, I got to tell you, I really love your shirt.
Oh, thanks, man. I just got it today,
Yeah, good.
just now.
Sarah Hall is certified in angel therapy and
Hi, guys. I'm
mediumship.
getting another lag with the audio again.
Okay. Is it just we're not matching up to the audio that's coming out?
No, I'm getting multiple audios at once. I'm hearing what you just said playing as well as what you're saying live. So I'm hearing multiple
Make
things at
sure
once.
I would suggest just close all other windows except this one, and
Okay.
then you could pinpoint the problem more easily.
Sure. Let's see.
Da, 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 da. We are all divine.
Okay, so I've closed all tabs here. I'm still getting a little bit of a lag, like a few layers of different audio going at once.
On the bottom of the screen here on the chat, is there like the volume coming on anyone's picture? Like how when I talk it's green?
Yes, yes.
Where is it coming from?
I'm definitely, actually now I have singular audio. Now it's normal.
Nice.
Does this mean that hopefully it's fixed?
Yes, we're good.
Okay, and that's a good lesson in persistence and patience.
Yes.
Yes.
Technology is amazing. I'm grateful for it no matter what kind of little bumps in the road it gives us sometimes.
Yes, nice.
And this is Sarah's first time on Google Hangouts, so
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Welcome to the party.
Thank you.
I'm always learning. So, Sarah, I was going to say you're certified in angel therapy and mediumship by Doreen Virtue.
Yes, I am.
Did you want to go a little bit into that, or I could start some questions?
Yeah, sure. I worked with Doreen Virtue. She is an author via Hay House Publishing. I first was introduced to her books when I was really young, maybe when I was about 19, and her work with angels and what she taught really changed my life. It spurred my spiritual path in a really meaningful way, and I felt very called to go and to study with her, to learn what she had to offer about the angels. And so I went over a couple of different certification courses with her to Hawaii to learn how to do what she does. And yeah, again, it's been one of the most enriching and wonderful catalysts for my spiritual path that I've experienced yet in my life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You're a spiritual counselor. Could you define for us what spirituality is in your terms?
Yes, so spirituality to me can be defined in the simplest of terms as your relationship with your true self. So to come to know yourself is to come to know God, and to come to know God is to access all the wisdom and creative power of the entire universe. I believe that it's through coming to know yourself, by practicing a conscious, intentional relationship with yourself, that you come to know God, and thus to know meaning and purpose and all the higher wisdom that you could ever yearn for in your life. So spirituality to me is all of the infinite and marvelous ways that we come to know and understand and expand ourselves in this existence, and thus to expand everything.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
good. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
I just said nice.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I was reading about something, and it said that the universe is still expanding right now. Like there's still being galaxies and other planets created past our galaxy. So that's just really cool to think about, that everything is always expanding.
Yes, yes, that is the nature of the human soul, the nature of consciousness. It just wants to continually expand. And, you know, you see it everywhere. You see it in the universe as the constant expansion of the universe, and as above, so below, because we are the same as human beings.
And what does it mean to be an angel therapy practitioner?
So angel therapy it's a non-denominational spiritual healing method that involves working with a person's guardian angels and archangels to heal and harmonize every aspect of life. Angel therapy helps you to clearly receive divine guidance from the Creator and from angels regarding any area of life where you feel you have questions or you want some healing or development or growth. Receiving angel therapy is also a great way to kind of learn how to make the angels a strong part of your life. The angels' mission is to help us to achieve peace in this world. So I teach people how to call on their angels and to work with them for matters both big and small to help bring a more peaceful and joyful experience in their lives.
Yeah, Nick Milnicki, you weren't at Imminent Disclosure, were you?
No, I was not.
Yeah, Sarah Hall was there, and she did a workshop on calling in the angels, and it was really, really amazing and wonderful.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, Sarah,
Even,
I heard about when you did a reading, I believe, for Mike Mead and Christina.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that sounded like that was quite an experience, to say the least.
Yes, they are absolutely delightful individuals, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
wonderful to work with other light workers. I find that in my work, I often attract other people who are very spiritually called on their mission, and it's just always so exciting for me to connect with people in that way, because I know that when I connect with people spiritually and I bring, you know, the angels to them, or they bring the angels to me, that it's part of their path, you know, it's part of their purpose to begin working with them. So I'm always so excited to connect with other people with this.
Nice.
And what angels would you say you find yourself working with the most?
My go-to, closest, best friend angel is Archangel Michael. He is the first angel that I ever met. At a young age, I started working with him. And I feel myself very aligned with him, because he oversees the purpose of eradicating all fear from this planet, which is a giant umbrella for all light workers and earth angels' life purposes, because we are here to bring peace and to bring light. So I find that he's a powerful protector, but also an inspiration and a guide for me on my path. I feel very strongly connected to Archangel Michael.
Yeah, me too. It's good that what you said, he eradicates fear. I feel like fear of what people might say if I do something has been coming up a lot lately. So it's good to be given guides to work with through all this earth stuff.
Yes.
How would you say Michael would go about doing that, eradication-wise?
So there are so many different ways that Archangel Michael and the angels in general work with us in our world. One way is that they're constantly guiding us and sending us light, sending us energy, and just helping to uplift this world by way of their spiritual overseeing of everything. The next way is through us, because we can create some of the biggest changes here, because we're the ones in physical bodies. We're the ones, you know, directly affecting this dimension of events and feelings, etc. So I think one of the most profound ways that Archangel Michael helps to eradicate that fear is through you and I, and through everybody, by when we feel called and impassioned to follow guidance, to make a change in this world, or to live our lives in a way that reflects a spirituality, reflects love. That's when Archangel Michael is working at his highest, and that's how I believe that he desires to work the most effectively is through all of us, because not only are we doing his work, we're doing God's work, but we're also uplifting ourselves in the process. We're transforming ourselves.
She's got a nice way of talking, doesn't she, Nick?
Yeah, it's very concise, but also extremely dense in terms of like the amount of knowledge given.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, my pleasure. You deserve it.
Yeah, thank you.
For sure. You speak very passionately, and it's a great honor to speak with you and to walk this earth with you as well.
Oh, thank you. I feel very impassioned about being able to connect with people and experience and communicate about these things, and it's an honor for me to be here communicating with all of you.
Yay.
So thank you.
Honor party.
Yeah.
So the next question that I had, we may have gotten to it, but I'm not quite sure, was what does it mean to be an angel therapy practitioner?
Yeah, so I told you a little bit about what angel therapy is, and when you're an angel therapy practitioner, what we do is we meet with people, whether one-on-one or in a group context, and we communicate with that person's angels for them. So my clients will usually come to me with different questions that they have or topics that they would like to work on with regard to their lives, and I talk with their angels and just receive any guidance or advice that the angels have as to how that person can uplift that area of their lives or answer those questions. And then the other part of angel therapy is there is energy work involved, where we angel therapists work with a person's energy field to do things such as cutting cords, or which really just means to remove negative attachments, negative energetic attachments from that person to something that might be unbalanced in their lives, or by doing shielding work, or just kind of helping to clear them or give them a good heart-centered feeling of their connection with the angels, to help them just receive any love or support that they might need at that time, to uplift their lives, to increase their faith, to give them a connection with God. So it's really, to be an angel therapist is sort of just to be an instrument for the angels. I do what they tell me to do, and I communicate on their behalf.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
How would you say you communicate the best with the angels? Is it like, do you hear them talking to you, or is it more like a feeling, or what's that like?
That's a wonderful question. So I teach people about this all the time, because I like to teach people that you don't have to be special in order to talk to God, in order to talk to the angels. I think that as human beings, it is our birthright to be able to communicate with God. And I think that everybody has this ability. I tell people everyone is psychic. This is the way that our consciousness is evolving, with these extra sensory abilities that we have to be able to feel and sense things. And this comes from the fact that we are one unified consciousness. And within that one unified consciousness, we are not only one with other human beings or animals or plants or other living creatures, but also with God, with the angels, with ascended masters, all spiritual beings. So it is through that connection, that oneness, that we are all inherently able to communicate with the angels. And in order to learn how to do that, it's really a matter of, or an art form of, learning to shift your beliefs into such a place where you have faith that you're able to do so. Because it is through your faith and your beliefs that you're able to connect with that guidance. If you believe that you can't communicate with them, or that it takes a special psychic person in order to do it, then you won't be able to receive their guidance or trust it or recognize it when you do receive it. So there are 4 different ways that we receive guidance from the angels, or from spirit in general, and I call them the 4 clairs. There's clairvoyance, which is often heard of. Everybody knows what clairvoyance is. It means clear seeing, in which people will clearly be able to see visions, whether it's in their head or outside of them, and those visions tell them the message that they need to know. There's clairaudience, which is clear hearing, where you will maybe hear guidance from your angels as a voice that you hear in your head, or sometimes people hear sounds outside of them, or they get synchronistically attract different sounds, such as song lyrics, or they just hear something that repeats synchronistically until they get, that must be a message I'm hearing. Another way is clairsentience, and clairsentience is clear feeling. So it means that you get feelings or sensations that, kind of remind you of what the angels are trying to communicate with you. The last is claircognizance, and claircognizance means clear thinking. So that's when you get maybe a downloaded block of energy that moves into your mind and just starts to translate itself as thoughts that are coming out of you very naturally. For me, I believe that everybody has all four clairs, but usually there is maybe one or two of those senses that fire the rest of the engine. And for myself, I feel that I operate most strongly with claircognizance. I usually get the sense of this just block of energy, and all the thoughts start to kind of come through, and I will run at the mouth from there. So that's claircognizance is my main one, and I'd say that I'd probably use the other three very equally from there on. So yeah.
And so what I got from you earlier was that everybody has the ability to do this, you say?
Yes, I truly believe that every human being has the ability to do this. And some people, just like with anything, some people kind of come into this world maybe being a little bit more adept at some things than others. For example, like some children speak sooner than others because they're just more inclined towards communication, or something like that. So it's the same thing with your psychic or intuitive abilities. Some people feel just automatically a little bit more inclined or a little bit more talented or kind of cable ready. They're already kind of suited up for it. But all of us have the ability. Just like all of us have these bodies, and all of us kind of can do things within these bodies that are very similar. So too, everybody has psychic abilities, and everybody can learn them. Everybody can develop them, just like everybody can learn how to read and write. I think everybody has the ability to hone those skills and to open them up in themselves.
What would you say is the best way to go about calling upon your spirit guides, or being able to meet up with your angel guides?
I like to be very, very casual about it. I just talk to them. I think that doing that helps to eliminate any gap in a person's mind between yourself and the divine, because the truth is that you are the divine. You are, the dowsing rod of God. You are the channel. You are the instrument of peace. So I just simply talk to them. I'm very informal and very casual with them, and I started out, I guess, by just calling on them mentally, praying to them and just asking them. And sometimes all it takes to invite the angels into your life is just to think at them, angels, please help, or angels, I want to know you better. And if you just start thinking that and thinking that, the more that you ask, you shall receive. But with the angels, it's very interesting because they operate by the law of free will. So you have to invite them in order to have them start directly kind of working with you. There are very few and rare instances where they kind of come in, unannounced, and they just start, working with you. And usually that's part of your destiny. That's something you may have set up before you were incarnated, to have an experience where you just really clearly and strongly meet and confront the angels. But for 99.999% of us, we have to invite the angels in order to start working with them. So I just plain and simple talk with them. Other really cool ways of connecting with them is through writing. I do a lot of journaling, and I counsel my clients to do journaling as well, because I think it's a wonderful way to not only increase your ability to talk with the angels, so you can write to them and ask them questions, and then you just sit and wait and then write whatever comes to you and know that that's part of their answer. But also it increases your relationship with yourself. It's just a way that you can kind of organize all of your thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything that's going through your mind, and just see it out on paper, and you get this really awesome bird's eye view of your life, which is similar to the angel's view of your life. So that's one of my other favorite ways to communicate with them. And certainly there are other ways that people choose too, such as through different rituals, or even through energy healing, or through meditation. Meditation is absolutely wonderful. just to sit quietly and open yourself and just intend to be a receiving channel for their knowledge. The ways are many. The ways are, probably as infinite just as anything else that one might pursue. I think that you can connect with God through things like exercise, or through anything that makes you passionate, through your art, through music, through dance. You can hear, communicate, and channel the divine through just about anything that makes you feel passion. And to feel passion is simply to feel God's presence in your life. So my best advice to people is, A, know that you don't have to do anything special in order to communicate with God. You're a human, meaning that thereby it's your birthright to communicate with God. So just talk, just invite them in, just live your life with them. And second, follow your passion. Just do what makes you feel passionate, and know that the passion that you feel is God calling you to it. So that will be a great channel open for you as well.
Wonderful. You also do card readings. Is that as an angel therapy practitioner?
I do. I use my oracle cards as a tool for communicating with the angels and also with other spirit guides that might be working with or around that person. And when we work with oracle cards, we're working with the law of attraction. So once you set the intention to communicate with your angels or to communicate with God or spirit, you simply shuffle the cards, and you pull, whatever one you feel drawn to, and I do that without even thinking about it. Like it's the law of attraction is sort of infallible, so I just pull whatever cards I get, and I use those cards sort of as a storyboard. Like there's little things that will just sort of, for me, kind of trigger a reminder, or trigger, for me, a block of thought, because I get a lot of just thoughts that come through, and give them a message based on that. And it's really good because it gives a little storyboard of something visual for people to look at, so that I can point to certain things and say, hey, so this image right here, it symbolizes it's one of the messages that is coming through to you, and here's why. So I find that they're a wonderful tool for communicating with God, with the angels, and with your spirit guides.
Yeah, makes the message more defined and less up to, I guess, I don't know. Sometimes I think I can hear what I would perceive to be my guardians, and then sometimes, it's hard to tell a little bit. But I was going to ask if you would be able to do a card reading as an example for
yes.
On the show.
Yay! I would love to. Let me just grab my cards are just a little bit out of my reach over here, so let me just grab them real quick.
No problem. Nick Melnicki.
Hello, what's up?
Not much. So how's your channeling?
All right.
Oh, we're back.
Quickly increasing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Hello. Okay, so the cards that I have today are the Archangel Tarot, well, they're not tarot cards actually, they're just regular oracle cards. So they're the Archangel cards, and these are published by my teacher, Doreen Virtue. I love her cards just because they're very simple, but they're also very gentle. They're very down to earth and gentle. There's no scary images or anything like that. And usually the guidance that you get is just super. It's super loving. It's very, very spiritually based. So here I am with my cards right here, and you're just going to see me start to shuffle them a little bit. This is what I do every time. I just sort of shuffle them while holding the intention to get guidance and healing and clarity for myself, for both of you, and for everyone who is tuning in and watching today. And by the law of attraction, we will be given the message that we are needed for everybody's highest path. So what I'm going to do is just to pull 3 cards out of this deck. I like 3-card readings because they're simple and they give us a nice little storyboard. It gives us a nice little, sometimes people think of 3-card readings as, the first one is past, the second one is present, and the third one is future, or sometimes it just, to me, maybe completes a full sentence. So it's like, here's the beginning of the idea, and here's, the little arc that it goes on to and its conclusion. So I pulled 3 cards. Our first card that we get right here is spread your wings. So I believe that the first part of this message that we have is to not hold back right now in your lives. It's important for you to simply step forward fearlessly, because it feels like what's happened is all of the right timing, opportunities, knowledge, and lessons that you've needed to assimilate in order to take the next step forward, to take the next step of action forward on your path, have all lined up. They're all in place now. So it is time to just spread your wings, don't be timid, and dive in with some sort of action step that you are being called towards on your path. So let's get a little bit more detail about that message by going into our second card. And I love this. Our second card is prioritize. Prioritize, which is so wonderful to know when you are starting to take action with anything on your life. You have to have a sense of focusing on your highest priorities first before you'll be able to, kind of complete the larger, greater goal. And the angels want you to know that you can call upon them to help you get organized and motivated. You can practice, getting to know your angels a little bit if that's something you're curious about doing after, connecting with us today with this podcast, by just getting quiet in meditation or just simply talking to them, as I said, and asking them, angels, what is it that I need to focus on first or the most in order to get the most out of my life path, to make the most effective change that I can in my life, to be on my highest path of peace, to complete my life purpose. And they will always answer you. No matter what your question is, they will always answer. All you have to do is ask, and you'll even if you think you're not receiving it, they'll continue giving you the answer until you hear it, feel it, see it, or sense it in some way. So remember to prioritize your action steps on your path by focusing on what the most important thing is for your highest goals on your life purpose. Our last card, let's see, is it's the Claircognizance card, which we were talking about Claircognizance. So this is perfect because it piggybacks off of what I was just talking about. So when you ask the angels for help, listen to the repeated thoughts or ideas that come into your mind. I see so many different clients or people that ask me, how do I know what my life purpose is? And I tell them, you already know. You already know, because it's the thing that you feel drawn to the most in life. It's the thing that makes you feel the most passionate. It's the thing that lights your fires. And Claircognizance works very, very simply. It's not some woo-woo, crazy, supernatural thing. It's oftentimes, in ordinary everyday life, Claircognizance exists by simply the repeated inspirations and thoughts that keep coming back to you and back to you and back to you. And you can tell the difference between divine guidance and what might be your fear or your ego by the way that it makes you feel. So divine guidance that comes to you in the form of repeated thoughts that makes you feel good and relaxed. And also, this is key, is consistent, is coming from God, is coming from the angels. Whereas ideas or thoughts that come into your mind that maybe make you feel a little nervous or a little anxious, listen to your body. If it makes your stomach muscles tighten up, or your shoulders tense up, or your jaw tighten up a little bit, it's making you uncomfortable. Or if those thoughts that are kind of repeatedly nagging you are inconsistent, like one day it tells you you need to go open a yoga studio, the next day it's telling you go learn how to become a card reader, or go start a new business or something. It's the inconsistent thoughts that come from fear, but the consistent, regular thoughts that make you feel good and safe and grounded are the ones that are coming from God. So that's our message from the angels today. They're saying you are ready to take action on your path and make some wonderful changes, and in order to do that, they would like to work with you by prioritizing the steps that you need to take to get on your highest path, and learn how to communicate with them, learn how to listen to their guidance by just trusting the repeated gut feelings, thoughts, and inspirations that you get.
Excellent.
Beautiful card reading there.
Yeah. Thank you, angels.
Yes.
Thank you, humans.
Love those angels, man, so much. Yeah. So you'd agreed to give away to one lucky viewer a card reading, is that right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So to win the card reading, go ahead and send any question. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Send a question to this email address, And whatever question gets chosen on the show will win the free card reading by Sarah Hall.
Can you back that up a little bit?
Yeah. How's that?
Perfect.
Sweet.
Yay!
Yay!
So we'll do that more near the end of the show. No, excuse me. You also do shamanic journeying workshops. How did you get into teaching about shamanic journeys?
I actually have kind of an interesting story about how I got into teaching shamanic journey. So first of all, I believe that different spiritual modalities simply find a person when they are part of your destiny, when they have a lesson for you. In fact, I think that maybe all the different ways that I practice my spirituality, from working with angels to a meditation practice to shamanism or yoga, all arrived in my life in perfect divine timing with blessings and lessons that helped to spur exactly what I needed on my spiritual path at that time. And my getting into shamanic journey was actually one of the most synchronistic experiences of my life. So I was living at a co-op house in Ann Arbor, Michigan, while I was attending school at the University of Michigan. And at this particular house, we had a bulletin board where we used to pin up different announcements and local events and stuff like that. And one day I was looking at it, and I noticed that there was this brand new flyer on a clean sheet of white paper right in the middle of the bulletin board advertising a free Kundalini yoga class. And it was supposed to occur on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. at the specific location. And at the time, I was really interested in Kundalini yoga, so I decided to go. I showed up the day of the class, and I walked into the room of actually very pleasantly surprised people who welcomed me. Oh, come sit down. And I sat in a circle with them on the floor, and they asked me to introduce myself and asked me a few questions, and eventually asked, so how did you find us? And I said, well, I saw your flyer, and I've always been so curious about Kundalini yoga, so I decided to check you out. And that's when they told me, this isn't Kundalini yoga. This is a shamanic journey group. They said, we've been meeting here at this exact time and place every week for the past 15 years. We've never made a flyer for our event, nor is there any yoga of any kind taught in this building, to our knowledge. So they said, you, my friend, were meant to be here today, and they welcomed me with open arms. And that experience was just so magical to me because I had heard of shamanism before that time and was interested in it in passing. Maybe I'd read a little bit about it and that sort of thing. But what I really wanted to pursue was Kundalini yoga. I may have never showed up if it was, someone had advertised, shamanic journey. And what's, the cherry on top of that entire thing is that they didn't even make a flyer. This thing just kind of appeared out of who knows where, and it doesn't matter the details, but it brought me exactly where I needed to be at the exact time, and shamanic journey really really deepened my spiritual path in amazing ways, so I'm grateful to it.
Yeah, what a crazy experience that must have been.
Yeah.
I don't recall ever meeting you in person, but I knew that story before you even started speaking about it. I'm kind of confused.
I'm kind of confused about that.
But because I'm feeling deja vu, but I can't recall when we ever met or when that story would have been told.
I've told that story before. I tell my students in my shamanic journey classes about that story sometimes because I always just feel so happy when I see new people in my class, and I always have this sense of, you were meant to be here. I think that everybody that walks through the door into one of my classes or into my life as one of my clients is someone who God brought me to. And I'm so grateful for all of them. My clients and students amaze me and inspire me every single day. They are the core of my spiritual life, and they are my love and my passion. So I like to share that story with them just so that they know that I think it's special that they showed up because, we all kind of come to things when we're meant to in this life.
Yes.
Could you describe for us one of your more interesting shamanic experiences?
Yes, I have a really great story actually. So in shamanic journey, during the actual journey part, there are people that usually lie down on the floor in different bodily positions, and they close their eyes and they kind of go into a meditative or trance-like dream, like lucid dream-like state to the sound of a very rapid drum beat that actually helps to shift your brain waves so that your brain waves are like they are when you're in deep sleep. And in this particular journey, there were two individuals who were laying across from one another in the circle, so their heads were right across from each other. And at the end of the journey, we all get up and we sit around in our circle in tribal fashion around the candles, and we tell each other stories about what happened in our journeys, and we ask each other questions, and it's a great time to share. And it was amazing because these two individuals who were across from one another had a very uncannily similar experience. In the guy's experience, he was inside this big, beautiful orb of light. He saw and felt himself inside this big orb of light, and it was glowing, and it was so powerful, and he's just sitting inside of it, channeling all this light, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. And outside of the orb of light, he saw someone approaching and kind of looking in at him and sort of like touching as if they were touching the window of a glass and going, oh my goodness, and he's sort of looked at this person very curiously. And so the sharing kind of goes around the circle, and it comes to the woman who was, right across from him during the journey. And she said that in her journey, she came across this big, beautiful, glowing orb. So she decided to follow this orb and go and check it out. And she walked right up to it, and she said she felt this great energy coming off of it. Oh my gosh, it's so wonderful, all this light and warmth. And she went up and she touched it, and she peered inside. And then she saw this man sitting inside meditating. And that was in their journey. They had the same uncanny experience. So sometimes things like that happen. And oftentimes I notice that it happens with people who are across from one another. So, yeah, some very fascinating things happen sometimes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of a plane would you say that might have taken place?
I think that happens in the lower world. So in shamanic journeying, there are 3 different planes of existence that the ancient practitioners of shamanic journey and shamanism believed that you could go to. One was the lower world, one was the middle world, and one was the upper world. And in the lower world, this represents things that have to do with the earth, so energies that are really close to the earth, such as earth spirits or, the plants, the trees, or animal power guides. And when you go to the lower world, oftentimes people get these visions or experiences that they're going underground, they're tunneling underground, they're seeing the roots going by them, and then they come out of this tunnel and they are in this lower world that looks just like Earth, except you don't see human buildings and skyscrapers and roads and things like that. You just see plants and forests and oceans and animals, and you connect with your guides there. It's a wonderful place to go when you're journeying because it's just one of the main the crux of where a lot of the healing goes on, because shamanism is an earth-based spiritual modality, so it's a place to connect with Earth's energy. It's where Earth can talk to you the most closely when you get right into her bosom, into her core. So I believe happen in the lower world, but there are other places that you can go. The middle world has to do with humans, so oftentimes that's a place where you do a lot of relationship healing, or you see and experience places or things that are in your regular life. Sometimes you'll be working on energies at your job or within your family or your home, and then the upper world has to do with higher dimensions. It has to do with higher heavenly spheres, and looks very lots of light, lots of shapes, lots of sound, lots of color. It's a place to connect with angels and descended masters and higher beings. And when you're meant to go to the higher world or the upper world, spirit just kind of takes you up there and does with you what it will. But I'd say 9 out of 10 times most people will get taken to the lower world. It's just one of the best classrooms there is in shamanic journeying. So yeah.
Good. So in order to win the free card reading by Sarah Hall, all you have to do, is that good? You see that?
Back it up a little bit.
Is that good? Oh. How about that?
Looks good.
Perfect.
Just send a question for Sarah Hall to this email address, bringmetolifeproject@gmail.com, and the chosen question will win the prize. So, man, I had a good question, but then I forgot it after that. I see that you also do past life therapy.
Yes.
Would you enjoy going a little bit into that?
Yes, I would love to. So past life healing can be very, very powerful. It's a really wonderful way to come to know and understand yourself. In many ways, it provides a way of understanding and releasing any fears or blocks that might be holding you back in this lifetime. And it's also a way of understanding your relationships or the spiritual purpose of the lessons you share within your relationships or your soulmate connections that you make in this life. And another way that it's helpful is that it's a great way of recalling the strengths or the talents that you have garnered in other lifetimes and to bring them to the surface so that you can function at your highest level. So yeah, past life healing is very, very powerful. It's very interesting, and again, it's one of those things that I think comes to people when it's meant to come to them. I think that we forget our past lives for a very good reason. I think that we come into this world with an amnesia because we need the blank slate so that we can test our strength and our power to our highest and deepest abilities. That's, you know, one of the greatest gifts that we have coming into a human life is we're given all this creative potential and power by coming in with total amnesia, with this total brand new, you know, beginning and blank slate. But when past life regression is necessary, it's very, very powerful in people's lives, and it will find you. It's something that will attract you, and I think that it's another thing that is very guided. Like, it's always something that, you know, God or Spirit will give you the memories from your past life that you need that are relevant to your uplifting and healing yourself now.
Nice. And when you're going into a past life with somebody, is it like a visualization, like a guided meditation, or something like hypnosis?
Yes. So when I guide people into past life regressions, it's kind of, to me, like a combination of a guided meditation and a hypnosis. So I have them relax and close their eyes and get really, really calm, a nice, calm, centered, safe space. And I just have them start to listen to my voice, and I guide them to connect with Archangel Raziel. Archangel Raziel is the best angel to work with in guiding you towards your past lives, because he is the angel who oversees all higher knowledge and wisdom, including all the wisdom and information that has to do with every incarnation that you've ever had, every purpose that your soul has fulfilled in your current purpose. So I call upon Archangel Raziel, and I invite my client to then connect with him and ask Raziel to lead us into that person's past life. And I usually, you know, we ask Raziel to guide us to the experiences that that person needs, and I just guide them to see and feel whatever experiences need to come to the surface through Raziel. And then I kind of take note of the things that Raziel shows me, and we can talk about all of that, you know, after they come back, and, you know, we kind of compare notes on the experiences that they had.
Yeah. Excuse me. Let's see. Oh yeah. What is the most common theme or the most common message from people that have been doing the regressions? Like, what is the most common message that they receive when they wake up?
So I think that the most common, like the greatest lesson that you can learn from past lives is to learn to fulfill your life's purpose. So I think that it's important to be aware of incarnation in terms of past lives based on, in every lifetime you have, there is a purpose that your soul has come here to fulfill. You're here to live out a facet of the expansion of the universe. You are a piece of God evolving towards a greater, higher, and more loving enlightenment with every experience that you attract. So it is my focus as a past life reader to help people understand this connection to their life purpose and how past life healing can make you aligned with that purpose. So some of the most common themes that people experience under that are usually often letting go of fears related to any pain or trauma or persecution that they may have experienced in the past. A lot of times people will have fears or hang-ups in their lives that are inexplicable for them, and when they relive the experience or the source of that, they're finally able to let go, to heal. Another common theme to relive in your past lives are important moments of spiritual development. So for example, as I said before, a lot of the clients that I attract and students that I attract are light workers themselves, which is such a blessing to me. And they often in their past lives will relive experiences as healers, leaders, priests or priestesses, medicine men and women. And in reliving these experiences, it's like re-invoking the wisdom and the power that you learned in that lifetime. And then collecting it all to the surface, and that way you're able to kind of use it and really be in touch with your power now as pertains to your current life purpose.
Wonderful. So we do have a question and a winner for the card reading, and it is
Yay.
Julie Melody. And Julie's question was, can you talk about the meaning of repeating numbers and what angels may be trying to communicate through them?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes, that's a very good one. So oftentimes we get signs from our angels in the form of repeated number sequences. One of the most common that people get, that they'll see very often, and people talk about this one a lot, is 111 or 1111. And people think of it as, oh, it's a synchronicity. Why am I seeing this sequence of ones all over the place? And the ones, they represent, especially if you get 1111, the doors of the spirit world, 2 doors that are open. So what that means is that you are now manifesting your thoughts very clearly and very powerfully. So it's a sign that says, watch your thoughts. Be very aware of what you're doing with your consciousness in this moment, because what you're doing now is creating and rapidly manifesting into form. You are attracting synchronicity very strongly in your life. So co-create with us is what that is saying. 111 or 1111 is an invitation that says, you're powerful. Co-create with us. Watch your thoughts. Watch your intentions. You have the power to affect your reality. Another strong sequence of numbers that I see very often is 444. And 444 is just as the angel number. It's a number sequence that means, hello, we're your angels. We are here. We love you. We are around you. And we want you to know that we are looking out for you, that we are taking care of you. Another sequence that I often see is 222, or lots of 2s, and the 2s mean to have faith that everything is working out just as everybody needs to, for everybody involved, as it is needed to for everybody involved. And you could probably go with just about any number sequence, and it has some kind of a meaning. But the importance is just to recognize the repetition of those numbers, the synchronicity involved in those numbers. And once you start seeing something over and over and over again, that's when it's time to go, okay, so hey, what does this mean? What does this pertain to in my life? And there are many ways that you can kind of look it up, or you could contact an angel therapist, any one of us, and we'll be able to tell you all about it.
Okay, and we have one more question. This is from our sponsor, Shantastic Sales. She says, I hear she's also a medium. Has anyone she's worked with, guides or connected spirits, ever attached themselves to her for a long period of time to convey a message? If so, how did she get rid of it? If not, how would she recommend to get rid of one?
Okay, great. So, and what is her first name? Just one more time.
Shannon.
Shannon, wonderful. I asked the first name because it helps me to connect in with the energy of that person. So connecting in with you, Shannon, I'm seeing that you are definitely very, very psychically open. You're very, very attuned and have been since you were a child. Lots of incredible energy around you. You have very powerful spirit guides who are very, very protective of you. They say that in the past, the only times in which you've had, maybe negative or imbalanced connections attached to you is when you felt maybe overly responsible for helping or healing a person or situation. And it is in those times that you will invite in, sometimes an extra little attachment to you because you feel like it's maybe your responsibility to help or heal that person. They show me that right now you look pretty clear, but they say that in general you can tell when you've got a negative attachment on you based on how you feel. So sometimes if you feel like your energy is really low or dragged down, or you're feeling kind of blah or depressed but you don't know why, it's because you've got a negative chordal attachment, either to someone, a person that you're working with, or maybe to a spirit or entity that has attached itself to you. And what you can do is to work with the angels to clear that away. When you work with the angels, you are almost in a foolproof state of protection against getting any negative attachments from lower spirits, lower entity spirits. I used to have an issue with that because, like you, Shannon, I was very, very spiritually sensitive and psychically open from a very young age in my life. And I didn't know what to do with all of that. I didn't know what to do with the things that I was experiencing and sensing. And sometimes when I would, feel or sense impressions from these, things that were around me, these entities or spiritual presences, I would just invite them in and not really know whether they were good or bad or what have you. And it wasn't until I learned to work with the angels that I was able to sort of switch the radio channel that I was on from just allowing any old thing that came across my path into my energy field to just turning it up to heaven's dial, so that I was only connecting with trusted, loving, higher, parental, guiding forces in this universe. So I think one of the best ways that we can learn to clear ourselves and heal ourselves, uplift ourselves from any negative attachments, whether they be from people who are around you now or spiritual entities, is to work with the angels. And Archangel Michael, that's why he's my best friend. He's my personal bouncer. I have him always protecting me, and nobody and no entity can get through him. He is my protector. He will and can clear you of just about anything that you feel might be uncomfortably attached to your energy body. So, yeah, keep up the good work too. Your angels say I just sense a lot of wonderful, wonderful psychic energy around you.
That's amazing. And so, with that, how can more people find out about you?
More people can find out about me by connecting in on my website. My website is www.seraphim.com. I believe we have the link listed up here, and it's spelled SERRAPHIM, seraphim.com. Another way is through my YouTube channel. I post guided meditations every month, as well as discussion videos about different spiritual topics on my YouTube. I love to keep in contact with you guys that way. And then another way is through my Facebook page. Go ahead and give me a like on my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/sarahhall1111. And I like to post little things about different videos that I'm releasing, events that I'm part of, and send me a message. I love hearing from you guys. It's my joy to be able to connect with people. So yeah, thank you for connecting.
Yeah, wonderful. And so now we have just one more segment, and let me unscreen share that real quick. And we're going to do the I Mustachio question. So if we can turn on our effects and put your mustaches on.
It's your favorite part, isn't
it?
Okay. I've got mine on.
Fabulous.
Hey, check your email. CeeLo Phil sent in a question.
Phil? Okay. Well, Sarah, can you do you have the effects? Can you see the effect button?
Let me see.
Okay. I'll find his question while you do that.
All right. Oh, I found it.
Cool.
Yeah, just click the Google Effects one, and then it'll load up, and then you can use it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a yellow box with a wand.
Oh, great. I've got it. It says I can draw now. What do I do? This is just fabulous. Do I just draw a mustache on myself?
You could do that, or you could click the one that's a yellow box with a wand that says Google Effects, but you can draw a mustache also.
Oh, I see one. I think I just need to draw my mustache.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
While you do that, somebody messaged and they said they're not sure how to subscribe on the mobile website. It should be all the way down if you're on the page, but if not, I'll check that later, and yeah, I'll post that somewhere to find out how to do that. And so Sarah has her mustache on.
I have a beard too.
You weren't even smiling or anything, and the mustache was just like growing on your face. It was the funniest thing.
Yeah, my beard's a little weird though. My beard is a little.
It's one of those pointy ones, like a wizard.
Yeah. I wanted a mysterious pointy beard, but
nice.
I don't know how it's working out for me.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and start if you guys don't mind. Sarah, I must ask you a question. How important is physical health, such as like your diet and your exercise? Why is that important to spirituality and the spiritual path?
I think it is paramount to the spiritual path, actually. Shifting my diet and my lifestyle and taking care of my body was one of the biggest ways that helped me to uplift my abilities to be psychically sensitive and spiritually open. So when you shift your diet, for me and everybody can be guided towards something different. I'm not saying my way is the only way, but I was guided to shift my life towards a more plant-based diet, towards eating lighter and eating closer to the light. So when you eat plants go through photosynthesis and they get their energy directly from the sun, and then it goes directly into you. Yeah. And I found that as I did that, I was able to feel, hear, and sense my angels and my guides so much more clearly. There was just so much more clarity. It was almost like when I had things such as dairy and a lot of meat in my diet, like when I was younger, it was sort of like, you know, if you have like a windshield on a car and somebody spread yogurt all over the front of the windshield and then made the windshield wipers go, and I couldn't see anything coming out of it. But for me, when I got those things out of my diet, I was able to see and feel and hear very clearly. Plus, it just gives you so much more added energy. It's like, you know, you have, when you feel better, when you're more uplifted, you're able to receive more energy, because your body is as one with your spirit and with your mind. What you do to your body, you do to the spirit, you do to the mind. So when I purified my body, I was able to purify myself in my ability to sense and receive divine guidance. So yeah, that's, again, not something that everyone is called towards, but I think that many people are, and that it can only do good, just to shift yourself towards health and self-love and self-care, because when you love your body, you're loving everything else.
Nice. I must, I can never say this properly, must ask you a question. What are some of the daily consistent things that you do to keep yourself feeling as yourself? Like some people, they'll wake up and do yoga, they'll do yoga before they go to bed, they'll, you know, drink a bunch of water as soon as they wake up, they'll have some sort of physical activity, you know, every day or most days of the week, or something like that. What kind of things of those do you do to keep your internal processes and thoughts how you want them to be?
That's a wonderful question. My daily routine consists of a lot of things like that, because I think that in order to give at a high level, you have to receive at the same level. So my routine consists of exercise. As I talked before, I think that taking care of your body is a wonderful way to keep yourself highly attuned, and I find that when I discipline my body, my mind becomes disciplined. When I clarify and, you know, make strong my body, my mind and my selfness is stronger. Yeah. So I exercise through multiple different ways, but yoga is my favorite. I love yoga. I do lots of yoga. I feed myself very, very well. I always try to eat something that is raw and organic in the day, or at least twice a day, whether it's like a big old juicy salad or a smoothie. And I pray over my food. I put Reiki energy into my food, and I ask God to send me energy through the food that I'm becoming one with, through the earth that is then going to become the cells in my body. And then I enjoy doing things, a variety of different things, some that I don't do necessarily every day, but I try to make, you know, as often a process as I possibly can. But I practice meditation, even if I can only have time to do it for like just 10 minutes during the day, just having those 10 minutes to sit by and observe myself, or to even if I make my meditation into a time to do a little energy work on myself, I like to keep my energy really, really clear and clean, because it helps me with the work that I do, and it just gives me so much joy, because that's a platform for me to be able to feel my spirit guides and to connect in with my own spiritual growth. Another thing that I do is a lot of writing. As I said before, like when I write, I feel that I'm communicating God, with my guides, and with myself. So that's one of the biggest ways that I keep my relationship with myself and with my spirituality very strong, through physical self-care, physical rituals of self-care, and also through through my writing and through my my different kind of mental, emotional, spiritual practices, writing and meditating and things of that nature.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yes.
Your turn.
I have a mustachio question to ask now.
Yep.
Oh boy. Yes, I'll have to. Let me think. So, do I get to direct it at both of you or just one of you?
Whatever you choose. Whatever you are guided to do.
Okay. So I have a question for CeeLo then.
Okay.
Because I know CeeLo, like me, has a wonderful connection with Archangel Michael. That's one of the first conversations that he and I had when we first, hung out. And I would like to ask you, what is your connection to Archangel Michael? What is, how do you relate with him, and how has he made a difference in your life?
Oh, wow. That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, to tell you the truth, my first experience with Archangel Michael was in San Francisco. I think it was still 2012, but just barely at the end. And I was in a very intense state, I'll say. Vibrations very high. I was seeing in very high dimensions. When I closed my eyes, I would go and see a whole different dimension. And the first thing I saw was this giant. It was like a giant sacred geometry tree of life. I started with one circle on top, and then it kind of showed me how everything fractaled out, and each line to a different fractal was made of all the colors, the rainbow, and then I went into the middle of the park, Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, at the bottom of Hippie Hill during the middle of the night. I sat in the middle of this symbol, and it was a giant peace sign that somebody had made. And I sat in the middle of it and was just like, I want to hear the voice of God. I want to hear it, because I've been praying for it for so long. And then I heard nothing, and then I heard just sounds of everything, and something said, "This is the voice of God," and then something started talking, and he was like, in his accent, "I am Archangel Michael," and then we had a conversation, and it was very intense, because there were points where I would speak out loud myself. I would ask a question out loud, and he would answer inside my head. And then it would switch where I would ask the questions in my head, and he would answer out loud. And that was my first experience with him. And he helped protect me, because at that point I was living on the street, sleeping on the sidewalk, and it was my choice to do it. But I was just putting myself in the shoes of the homeless in the San Francisco scene. So he was protecting me through that moment, because it was pretty wild.
Wow. What an incredible story. That's a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing that.
Thanks for the question. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Can I do one more mustache?
Yeah.
Nick, I must ask you a question.
I must answer.
What higher energy or higher identity do you find yourself channeling the most?
Right now, the most prominent is just my highest self. It's complete, unadulterated, exactly what I must be doing to the T, in very concise versions. And I also use Archangel Michael. He comes through a lot for me. Basically, what it feels with him is I bring awareness to his existence in my being, and then it's basically just like this big stream of energy. It comes straight down, and a circle forms around my environment wherever I am, and it becomes instant stillness. All of the little guys are cleared, and all of the, the proper beings can be in their place for me to utilize. And it's just an instant becoming this galaxy and being able to sort through whatever blockages this body has, and at the same time detoxifying the collective unconscious and then operating through that afterwards.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm so happy that you guys are doing this with me.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Thanks for bringing me along.
Yes, thank you. Well, I love this.
Yeah, so we do this podcast every Tuesday live at 8 p.m. And actually we have another one coming up tomorrow at 8 p.m. as well. So that one will be with Liz Cox. She is the creator of the upcoming event, Resonate, the next wave excuse me, the next wave of harmonic evolution.
Nice, that's exciting.
Yeah, so stay tuned for tomorrow's podcast. There'll be another giveaway. Sarah, thank you so very much.
Thank you. It was my pleasure and honor to be on this with you today, and thank you so much for all that you do. This is a really beautiful way to have us all come together and share our light.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, and Nick, I love you so much, and I'm so happy and honored to have you every week with me.
Thanks, man. It's a lot of fun, and this also has the consistency of this. It increases the magnitude of my consistent activities, like by many orders. Because it's like, even if I'm having a crappy day and I just want to, not do anything, I'm still going to force myself to do something like this because I know it can only be really good. Yeah. And great people like you guys, it makes it so good. Can't even describe it.
Yay, I love that.
Yeah.
So you can check out more about Sarah at seraphim.com. There's a link. Also, I will post a link on YouTube if you want to show it to your friends. It'll be on YouTube from here on out, so keep checking. And yeah, thanks everybody so much for being a part of this. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, nope. There's one last thing that I wanted to read for the very end, if you guys are okay with that.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just read it. Listen to your ancestors. Study old magic and mystical healing. Treat your friends like your tribe. Protect them like your family. Open your heart to many beliefs. Open your eyes to many types of beauty. Respect the earth, the heavens, and your body. Know that you are gods and goddesses. Take responsibility for the future you create and the present world you share with others.
Thank you. That's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful last sentiment as we end here. Thank you.
Yep.
I share that sentiment.
Thank you, audience, for tuning in and tune in every week. And we love you infinitely. And thanks for being part of this experience with us. We love.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. We're helping ourselves in doing this. Keeping the consistency, but it's also you guys as well, because there's not much point to have this on audio and do this live if we're not planning on people tuning in and sharing this experience with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Hopefully next week our chat will be able to have more people.
It's funny.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, thank you guys very much, and yeah, signing off.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Goodbye.